These Jamaican beef patties are one of my favorites to make. They're flaky, savory, and were a staple in my home growing up. We'd eat them as a snack, for lunch, and even bring them on special occasions. That's such a nice balance. I can eat this whole tray in like 10 seconds. Making beef patties is seriously a labor of love. It takes forever, but it's definitely worth it. We're using fresh ingredients, herbs and spices, and we're making a patty dough from scratch. First, let's make our dry ingredients. In a large bowl, add your flour, salt, sugar, curry powder. We're going with Jamaican curry powder, turmeric, shortening, and butter. The high fat concentration will help make a flaky dough. And I'm just going to take a fork and I'm going to press down on the butter. We're working to break up the bits of the butter and shortening and combine all the ingredients. Once the dough is craggy and you have these fine pieces, we're ready to add our buttermilk. You can just pour it right in and mix until combined. This recipe is sure to give you an arm workout. So we're just going to put it on the table now and knead it until it forms a dough. We're just going for a dough that just holds itself together, and once we put it in the fridge to let it rest, it'll get to the proper texture. We're going to refrigerate this for 30 minutes. In the meantime, we can make our filling by adding onions, garlic, ginger, and green onions into a pan. Now, we're using Scotch bonnet, but if that's too spicy, you can take out the seeds, and if that's still too much, just use your favorite hot sauce. Now throw it into the pan and let that cook down until tender. Now add your spices like curry powder, allspice, paprika, turmeric, and thyme. You really want to let this cook down so that the spices bloom. And for ground beef, we're using 80% lean. This is because we don't want too much moisture inside the filling or else it'll spill out. Add the mincemeat to the pan, season generously with salt and pepper, and let that cook down until brown. And now we add breadcrumbs and browning sauce. The breadcrumbs is going to thicken the liquid into a gravy, and the browning sauce is going to darken it and add a little bit of flavor. We use breadcrumbs from leftover bread, but anything from panko to regular breadcrumbs can also work. You're just looking to sop up the liquid and have a gravy-like consistency. Now that the dough is rested, we can roll it out, fill it up, and turn it into patties. Generously flour your surface. Place your dough down and roll it out. We're going for a 1/2 inch thick here, just to laminate the dough. On one side, place the butter, cut in half, and place the other side over top the butter. This is called lamination, and this is what helps make the flaky layers. The more you fold it, the more layers you get, and the flakier the dough becomes. Now you can roll it out, and we're going really thin, about 1/4 inch. So now that we have our dough, we can cut it out into circles. So this is a little unorthodox, but what I use is a pot lid. This helps get the circular shape of the patty. All you have to do is press down, lift, and repeat. Once you get to the end, you're going to take all the pieces, pull it all together, and then roll it out like you would a regular dough. And even at the end, you can turn that into a patty. So now that we have our dough, we can place it down. You're going to grab about 1/4 cup of the filling, place it in one side of the dough, and I'm just pressing down just so it sort of has like an even layer on the top. Then I'm going to take the water and I'm just going to press around the edges. This is just going to help it stick to the dough. And we're going to try and line up the sides just so they reach together and gently press down. There we go, just like that. Then I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to just use the prongs to seal the edges. And I do 3 pokes at the top just so the air can escape. And there we go, we have our patty. Once you've made all your patties, put them on a pan, and before it goes into the oven, I'm just gonna brush it with some egg wash. These are gonna bake for about 30 minutes until golden brown. These are so hot. Oh, that is childhood. That is perfect. You can find this recipe and more at flavornetwork.ca, and don't forget to subscribe.